All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the fucking podcast, man. I shouldn't be cussing, but welcome back to the podcast, man. And as promised, man, I'm back at it again with Quentin Tezzarino, no, the slow hole. I don't know, but back at it again with this man. And today we talking about we're talking about colorism. Uh, Going to be covering three main points of colorism in today's episode. One, how it affects the black community. Two, the negative effects colorism has on black women, or dark skinned women to be exact. And three, how dark skinned men are put on a pedestal while dark skinned women are just stumped to the ground. And in between, we're gonna have segments where we're gonna kind of debate the mindset behind it and see overall, is this a detrimental part of the black community and what leads to the further in the divide, or if it's something that we can all come back from once we get our head in the right space. But without further ado, my man Tez.
How's it going? Back at it again. It's been a while. I've had a tight schedule. Couldn't really catch up with him. He's been going through some stuff. I ain't gonna put his business out there like that, but when it's time where we hit rock bottom and we need to bring us back up, some people don't have a good support system. No, a lot of things happen.
Yeah, life happens, man. Life happens. Can't let it get you down, but you just gotta keep pushing forward, you know?
Yeah.
Bro, we straight on that. But as promised, we're gonna jump right into the topic of colorism. So as described in last week's episode, colorism is before I even get into this conversation, links in the description below for last week's episode, the week before that episode, and both of those episodes, both tackle mental health and the detrimental effects that it has on the black community. Especially part 2 of episode 10, kind of features me ranting about how it's absurd that the pride of the black community keeps us from actually reaching out and getting some help, and from actually allowing us to seek out help and kind of breaking that situation down. So if you want to check that out, link in the description below. Also, shameless plug, links to all my socials on the screen, and it's going to be at the end of the video and the links below. Follow me on all forms of social media. I'm going to get, depending on how well things go, I'll get a fan page started up. I am on Twitter, Instagram. I'm going to be posting more of my art on those too, giving constant updates on different things, and that'll be kind of the media where I actually give out useful black tips, black unknown, like little known black history facts, similar to Tom Jordan in the morning, but actually dove in deeper into black history and not just kind of going off of mainstream. And I'm not saying Tom Jordan does, but just kind of doing something unconventional all the same. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, add me on Snapchat, links will be in the description below, and they will be on the screen. Now, also, I'm going to leave a link for the Discord down below so you could join the talk. Now, all the shameless plugs aside, let's get right into the video. Alright, so as discussed earlier on last week's episode, colorism is a discrimination or prejudice against a person based off the color of their skin. Now, for those who did not know, this is not racism, because racism is something totally different that goes by your ethnicity. Colorism actually is about the color of your skin. Strictly the color of your skin, and not for the fact that you're an African American of any skin tone. It's literally based on the color of your skin, and more importantly, how dark or light it is.
Yeah, okay, so pretty much it happens with we see it a lot, we do it a lot. Light skinned guys do this, dark skinned guys do this. I've seen posts where dark skinned guys fuck like this or have sex like this, or light skinned niggas post pictures naked. Like really, like it's redundant because at the end of the day, there's really no race, light skin or dark skin. We're really just in ourselves within ourselves, and we're already segregated as is. We don't need to be any more segregated than what we already are. But if that makes sense to you or not, I don't really. I feel like, well, in case you don't have the intelligent mind, basically this is what I mean. We're already segregated. Black African Americans are already looked down upon, and Asian, etc., etc.
Agreed.
Brothers with, an Indian chick or a Muslim chick, but not so that somewhere met up, and it was like otherwise different from the average Joe, and it really takes a lot. Prove why the race is wrong, and hey, you're not just a typical. You're actually worthwhile. But I mean, like I said, it takes a lot.
Agree, and it really is something that's sad. That in the black community we have not only a crab in a barrel mentality, but a colorist mentality all the same, and it doesn't really change the fact that either of us is black, and it just doesn't exclude anything, because like there's black men who value the whiteness of somebody's skin versus the darkness. Like a drop of melanin makes you dirty to these black men, and it's completely absurd. It's just completely absurd. But I mean, this is just something that kind of and truly, I can rant about this all day, but this is something that's truly come to a head because as a black man who actually doesn't care what your skin color is at all, it really does upset me when I have to sit there and watch my people belittle each other because, oh, he's dark skinned, she's light skinned, or oh, you're too dark, or and really, and we're gonna get into this next, but double-sided compliments do not help in this issue. All right, and that's something that people really need to realize. As black people, double-sided compliments literally are nothing but you throwing some level of shade, salt, and hatred towards us, and it needs to stop. Just off breaks, it needs to stop.
I agree with that because what's the point of saying, oh, light skin? At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what race, what color you are. I mean, at the end of the day is light skin niggas do this, dark skin, and hear about people get into a fight just because a person is skin, so he's not my type. Light skinned people are evil. Last light skinned person I dated was a homie, they cheated on me. But it seems like each time I dated a dark skinned brother, so dark skinned nigga, that was me. Thought that maybe it's just the type of people that it's not really a simple type of person that's really evil or a simple type of color or whatever. It's the type of people, the type of light skinned people you're attracted to. Have a different type for each type of person that you look for. And maybe I ought to stop. Maybe he was the right one. It's more of a vice versa. You been cheating on none of the light skinned girls. It's not really. Girl could have cheated too, but she could have been sneaky about it, never got caught up. Same goes for the guy. He could have been sneaky about it, just never got caught up. it's no need for us to segregate ourselves more than we already are. If anything, we need to stop the whole light skin, dark skin because it's redundant. You know how they see us? Niggas. What's that? It's nothing.
Nothing but niggas. Like let's just keep it 100. You can try as hard as you can to try to impress white people and other people outside of the black community, but at the end of the day, they all see you as one thing, as a dirty nigga. They don't give a fuck about what you have to offer to the world. They just want money from you. So they're just off breaks. So don't try to sit there and impress nobody else saying that you like light skinned women. No, none of that shit. To you, everybody else, you're a nigga. So instead of trying to act like one, how about you act like somebody who can elevate and motivate the community and bring us up? Now, on the topic of women, hold on, say what you're going to say. I feel like you're going to say something.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Okay, so, my bad, I just want to cut you off, man. But, all right, while on the topic of women, one thing that I really, really cannot stand is something that has been going on is the demonization of dark-skinned women. And I mean, like, darker-skinned women, like, past the normal skin tone, like, past my skin tone or darker, or the same skin tone or darker, I would say. And it's really upsetting because it normally happens with lighter-skinned people, even darker-skinned people. And the biggest thing that I legit hate is when somebody sits there and says, oh, you're cute for a dark-skinned girl. Oh, you know, I didn't think dark-skinned girls can do that or can do this. Like, you're treating them like they're a subclass of the human race. They're not a fucking poodle. They're not a fucking chihuahua. They're an actual human fucking being. So, of course, they can do what other human beings can do. So stop demonizing and demoralizing the darker skinned women because of the fact that they have a darker skin tone than the average woman that you would see. And that's quote unquote, because what is an average skin tone in any regards?
And you know that there's no shame in they having being attracted to the darker skin color. I mean, darker than normal. And as far as sisters, y'all sisters, you need to really stop saying, "Oh, she's too dark." There's no such thing as too dark, because if you go to Africa, you will see a lot darker than that.
Okay.
Literally in the sun, 24/7. Africa is just. See, a lot of people say, "Oh, I want to travel to Africa," but you deem your sister's hair because their skin is a lot darker than yours, a little darker than what it's supposed to be. You go to Africa, 3 to 10 times darker than what you be used to. You gonna deem them, some type of way. They already look down on us as spoiled, selfish,
entitled.
Yeah, entitled. Someone don't even claim us because it was like deal.
I mean, that's real. That's just keeping it 100. Like, and I think it's just an American thing because, as you said, over in Africa, the people can get a lot darker than what we're used to. And I want to rewind back to like a couple weeks ago. I follow a lot of different forms of melanated anything, like melanated women, melanated this, that, and the third on Instagram, and I come across this picture of this extremely beautiful chocolate, like dark chocolate skinned woman, and I'm looking like, oh my god, this woman is so beautiful. Like, she exuberated what melanin would be. You know what I'm saying? And what melanin is, and kind of has that essence about her. And I'm scrolling down the comment section like I normally do, and most people are like, "Ew, you look like a cockroach. Ew, you too dark. You look like you burnt a piece of meat and burnt this and burnt that." And it's that sickening thing. And it's not even like most of them were white. They were all black people. Tearing down this beautiful black woman for what? To make yourself feel better?
And And that's a shame because that type of shit needs to stop because y'all be the ones that sit up in church every Sunday say yes. Can't nobody post on status. Can't nobody judge me but God. You might not never know. May when you sit up here judging her, she posts this and see how many comments and likes she's got. Could be a model making more money than what you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
What minimum wage in Missouri is what now $10 an hour? St. Louis $10 an hour?
No, it's actually $8.80. It's $8.80.
Some stores have
I mean, it's $8.80 for like Missouri, and like I think $10.50 for like St. Louis.
Yeah, okay, so it's between 80 and 10. I heard it's going to get bumped up to 15 soon.
Yeah.
You know.
And I mean, to be honest, I don't even think like the money is necessarily even a factor into, not like the only factor into it, because like you see these women on Instagram, you see them living like what we presume to be the best life, because we don't know what goes on behind the door.
Well, when you see people trying to break them down or whatever, they live in a dream.
Yeah. Well, presumably, because you got to remember, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. We could sit there and imagine that they're living a dream, but they could be living a whole nother different nightmare than what we're used to or what we're seeing that's on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's never really known. Or that, cause like literally, you never really know what can be going on. Hell, for all you know, she could be happily married to a husband who's supported her since back when she first started modeling or whatever. And or she can go through him, but then her husband is constantly cheating on her. You never know those doors. Because what you see up front to it allow you to see. Something like this, you see a couple they all lovey-dovey. You might never know. She could be going out to go cheat later on that night.
Yeah.
My girls, we finna go to such club to go dancing, but in reality, she finna go to her little boy toy house, and so you never know, like you said, you never know what goes on behind closed doors or behind the scenes. Always pay close attention to. Don't trip off what you see in front and the back. Me personally, I don't really see a person's real side. I don't see the front. I don't want to see this persona. You. Because I'm already seeing it. I just want you to show it.
I mean, to be honest, it's real. And like, while I agree with this, that all women have it hard. And in the same token, men at this current stage have it hard as well. But when you break it down and boil it down to what it actually is, dark-skinned women have it quite literally the hardest out of any black person in America, right? Or in anywhere. Because of the fact that you're seen as less than a human being by everybody, including members of your own ethnicity, it makes it hard for you to actually think that you're going to be something, that you're going to be about something. And it becomes like a vacuum of depression and everything else. But the same people that demoralize, demonize, and humiliate you will be the same people that get offended and upset when you go out and you date a white man. Or you go out and you date a white girl. Or you go out and you date a light-skinned dude, or a Mexican guy, or a Hispanic guy, not to be offensive, but a Hispanic guy, or an Asian man or woman. And these be the same people that was calling you a fucking burnt brownie or whatever type of stupid shit they would call you. But these be the first motherfuckers that will jump up and try to fucking bash you again for doing something, for dating outside your race or dating somebody with a lighter skin color. So like, the demonization for dark skinned women has to stop. And most of the time, it's by people in their own race. Like, I saw this post the other day, and you know what? I'm gonna just read. I think I still got it on my phone. I'm gonna try to pull it up, but if I can't, I'm just giving you a nutshell of it. Basically, this light skinned girl was sitting there like, "Oh, light skinned women are better. I don't know why people go with dark skinned girls. They just sit up and lie and they cheat and blah say blah. Light skinned women are better." And it was just a bunch of dumb shit that literally made no complete sense, but it was there put in place just to just to be there for you. Here we go. So the post reads, and I'll include the screenshot of it on the screen when I edit it and everything. So the post reads, light skinned girls are 3 times better than dark skinned girls. We are nicer. Our hair is real, not real. The pussy smells better. And we listen when y'all strong men tell us something. And we are freaky. You know, we make the cutest kids. We make more money. When you cheat on your girl with us, we never say nothing because we know you will eventually leave the evil bitch and get with the nice pussy. Get with this nice pussy. So black and white mixed is the best, or mixed with anything, period. We are the best of both worlds. So this was like, I don't know if this, and I don't know if this was like a joke, but this is not a joking matter. That's not a joking matter. So you should never joke about something as like detrimental as that. The fact that she broke down and was basically spreading lies as if light-skinned women don't cheat or light-skinned women ain't evil. I know a lot of light-skinned women right now who are fucking evil as shit. Like, females that I acquainted myself with back in high school, and I'm glad that I stopped talking to them because of the fact that it's always that me mindset, like, oh, it's another nigga trying to fuck me. Oh, I'm not gonna answer his. I'm just asking how you're doing. Like, if I'm not, and that's a whole nother topic for another video, but just to sit there and try to say that your pussy smells better. Oh, okay, first and foremost, a good amount of pussy smells about the same as others. Now, there's deviations between it, and if the pH balance and all the chemicals is working right in your body, but a good amount of the time it pretty much smells the same. Being mixed with anything isn't the best of both worlds, because a good amount of time you're gonna deviate towards the other side, because that other side hates blacks as equally or more than white people. So now you're gonna be like, fuck the black side, I'm gonna shoot over here because, hey, I'd rather be known as a fucking Hispanic girl than an actual black girl. Okay, so along with that, she says that they're evil. I already covered that. She says that when their boyfriends cheat on them with the light-skinned girls, the dark-skinned girls' boyfriends cheat on them with the light-skinned women, that it's justified, that they're not gonna say anything, and they're gonna be submissive. Okay, so you can be submissive all you fucking want to, but that don't mean that motherfucker gonna love you equally. And just saying that they would leave this beautiful dark-skinned queen for your ass? You were a throwaway. You think he actually gives a shit about you? You were an exotic piece of ass that he chose to partake in, and that he deliberately chooses to partake in just to say that he did it. You ain't like, you think he acts like it's a simple mentality of a man. Men do not give a fuck what you have to offer them. I know men to this day, like right now, that cheated on their wife's girlfriends, baby mamas, whatever, with a whole nother chick from a whole nother ethnicity, just to say they did. The fuck you mean? Oh, it's no. Like, shit like that needs to stop. And I don't know if it's like, and people are sitting here laughing in the comments, and like, I'm like, no. That's not a laughing matter. There's something that needs to be discussed in the black community, because shit like that tears everybody down. It makes dark skinned women feel attacked. It makes dark skinned women feel like there's no other option but to date outside our race, because all the black men and women inside of this beautiful community, beautifully fucked up community, I would say that, hate me. So why not go and do what they're doing? But no, as soon as I do that, I get bashed again because I'm doing that. Come on, man. Stop hurting our black women, man. Stop demonizing them. Stop demoralizing them. Stop making them feel as though they aren't anything. They're like the key to the entire universe. They literally hold the key to the survival of the African race.
It is true, because without them and without black women, that's pretty much never going to be any. There's no person like, oh, okay, they're going to be so da da da. No, it's really not, because once they're gone, man. I mean, ain't no nothing.
There's nothing there. There's nothing else there. Like, black men can't reproduce black babies because the melanin is gonna start dripping down. Like, okay, I'll put an example. Since I'm an artist and I mix paint a lot, so if I mix half white, half black paint, it becomes what? Gray, right?
Yeah.
So I mix more white in this bit of gray that is like this very subtle, neutral, kind of darkish gray. So I mix more white in there, and what does it do? It starts to lighten the gray up, right?
Yeah.
And then I start to mix other colors with it. So now when I start to mix these other colors, or I start to mix white in with it, now it's starting to deviate from the black, and now you barely can see the black. You can see that it's dark, but you cannot see that it deviated from black at all.
Yeah, and the thing is with that, like I said, because to be honest, we are in a race that's going extinct, which is exactly what the fuck they want. They want us endangered species, pretty much, and discriminate black women. Oh, got this, da da da. That's a lot of women. A lot of black women prefer white men because. And in the neighborhood, that the black man is abusive to his woman, and the things he see going up, he might see he might go to school with a white girl, hang out with a white girl, her parent, carry in her head, she's like, this is not my household. Oh, this skin color is the reason why it's different, and white men or white women or both. And and then a lot of guys will say, I don't understand, why so many sisters going to the white side. Well, I mean, what have you shown this sister that haven't seen before? Hands hang lower than man. I'm surprised I could barely walk straight without falling over. But be all out, some guys, nobody wants to see that story. Everything she's seen her whole life is just nothing but just an ignorant ass nigga. Really giving her nothing. Say, hey, he's different.
I mean, that's
like, look,
mm-hmm.
She's mixed with black. Her friend, she's mixed with black. So like, she told me of all the guys she's met off me, he got her attention to the point where really, you never once came at me disrespectful. You treat me with respect. I said, yeah, that's how you're supposed to do. She said, yeah, but you're like. I obviously thought you was going to start disrespecting, told some, mad things, told some dang, but you hear? I said, no, because if you don't want a man, shit, let's be friends. I always need new friends. Why not?
Hey, that's the real shit.
And
mm-hmm.
The other day, she was on live and she got a she's like she has not been. Or maybe like 2 but she said like 5 or 6.
Right, right.
I'm like, really enough? I've always wanted to go fishing.
Really? Oh, okay, definitely, definitely. I'm gonna take your ass fishing because, like, me and my dad, and this is a guy kind of like a side note for this is to kind of not even dull down the seriousness of it, just to kind of get into like a different mindset. But me and my dad went fishing like a lot when I was a child, and we currently still. And I wish we could go fishing again because I love that aspect of it. It's really calming, it's really serene, and everything like that. And it kind of gives you a sense of like time together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it doesn't really, to add to that, fishing is like, it's a white people thing, but if you think it's not really a white people thing, because we all did it. Right? Store was invented. Because who do you think goes out and catch those fish and sells it to the grocery stores? Fishermen.
Exactly.
They open up their own. They use nets, fishing bait. It's possible.
Yeah. I mean, of course. But like fishing aside, to okay, so to kind of wrap it up, wrap this topic up, this portion of it, and I'm gonna kind of like go into like the pros of this because like we've kind of been focusing on like the negative portion of it where we see the men and women who bash the dark skinned women. So let's actually talk about the men and women who actually appreciate and love the dark skinned women. And this is something that is rarely highlighted because we want to sit there and we, as human beings, want to automatically think of the negative with it. So I know a lot of people, a lot of men, including my friend Peyton, been friends for years, love this man to death. Like one of the best friends I could ever have, straight out of middle school. Like shout out Riverview, this stuff. One of the realest niggas out of Riverview. This really messed up school, but just kind of generally talking to him about like the black woman experience and the black people experience, and kind of like conversing with him. He actually is the one who got me to retrain myself, if you will, with my ideologies towards the mother of my children. Because at one point, because she's a dark skin, like mocha skin, not like dark skin, but like mocha skin, young lady. And at one point, I did disrespect her constantly. It's because I was upset. So just put that out there. I will admit my faults. Everybody, I'll admit my faults because I was wrong. I shouldn't have disrespected her the way that I did because she's done nothing but try to provide for both of our children, as I have as well. She just took a different approach to it, and this approach didn't get approved by me, and it doesn't need my approval technically, but it's something that I should understand. Now, with that being said, we go in depth sometimes about conversations about like the plight of dark skinned women and like just trying to appreciate dark skinned women, and it just based off the fact that there's not much of that going around. We would rather sit there and look at fucking Kodak Black bash dark skinned women on the Breakfast Club or on Instagram than actually go out and say, hey, why don't we uplift our dark skinned women right now? Why don't we uplift our light skinned women right now? Why don't we uplift every color inside the spectrum of the African American race? But instead we want to go and see this dark skinned man rip on dark skinned women. So just because there are people like that. All right, don't get me wrong. There are people that love dark skinned women, and to be honest, I love all my black women, and that's just me. I love all my black women, whether you light skin, like mixed with another ethnicity or whatever. I love them all, and that's just something that's rarely said now, and we just kind of need to highlight that for a moment instead of like kind of continually bash the other side of it. But like, there's a lot of brothers and sisters like that. So just remember, where you find 5 to 10 people that will be physically disgusted with your skin color, you will find that amount or even more that are attracted to your skin color. So just keep that in mind, my dark skinned sisters. Keep that in mind. There's always people who are going to love the melanin that you have exuberating from your skin, the beautiful, beautiful melanin that's exuding from your skin. So don't ever get discouraged. No, don't ever get discouraged. There's always somebody who will love you for you in the black community or even outside the black community. But first and foremost, we need to get to a point where we all love ourselves for being black. Because in a sense, and I'm going to end off this one by saying this, in a sense, the hatred for darker skinned women comes from a hatred of ourselves being black. And that's just some weird, I guess, mentality that's just been embedded with us. So we need to get past that to fully understand that. Now, with that being said, there's also on the opposite spectrum of this where dark-skinned men are literally praised because of their skin tone. And this happens a lot. This happens a lot in society, and definitely happens a lot in the African American community. Whereas a black woman, can do something as fucked up as a black man, but she gets ragged on it the most. And it just doesn't even apply to the black community at times, because in society, for just to throw a quick example, if a man has sex with 5 different women, it's seen as good. Oh, he's a player. He getting all the pussy. He getting all the bitches. As soon as a woman does it, immediately gets slut shamed. She's a hoe. Oh, that pussy stretched out. She probably got AIDS. She don't know who the baby daddy. And there's a whole lot of things that go into that. But on the spectrum of dark-skinned women versus dark-skinned men, everybody seems to adore dark-skinned men. Well, not everybody. More people adore dark-skinned men than they do women. And that's something that really troubles me.
It's crazy because, you have, me personally, everybody, no matter how old you are, how you look, it doesn't matter. Because of the simple fact that type of lifestyle this person is going through. My brother's ex-girlfriend.
The same one we was talking about at the galley.
Although they broken up, I still text her on an every other day basis. Hey, how you doing? You good? You need a hug? Or just check up on her, make her laugh, because I know she goes through a lot. I know the pressure hits her motherfucker.
Right. Get out of here, Moon Bunny. All right, so introducing to the podcast, we have Moon Bunny, aka Sean the Sheep.
I'm a specter.
He's just a specter. Okay, so continue what you were saying, Quentin Tezzarino. Tezzarino. Okay, there you go. Tezzarino.
So basically, yeah. And to this day, I still hit her up, make sure she's all right, check on her, make her laugh, make sure she's all right. We've been trying to, I'm like, we want to hang out soon because, she's like my sister. She's my sister because she was going through, I had been there. Her mom didn't really go shopping like this. I think her mom didn't really have a cash like that. And she was telling me different stories about, her mom used to put rocks on the refrigerator. Like, they'll literally have nothing to eat in that ice box. Go to the ice box to get anything to eat. Because after a certain time, that's the only key in the house. Crazy. So I'm like, how does one live like that? Or a box on the refrigerator, like that makes no sense.
Right.
I hit her up, see how she doing. Like I said, she's good for the most part. Friend, chilling, getting ready to graduate high school. I'm like legit shit, probably good. She does not have a body count. Doesn't have a lot of niggas said I hate that. Or got a lot of niggas said she sucked my dick. Don't niggas say nothing bad about her besides the way she looks. Other than that, anybody could say. there's not much you can really get that with or find with that you can literally say, hey, she does not have a high body count. She has not let anybody hit it. Because she lost her virginity to my brother. Broke up, she went to give her a girlfriend. Just simple as that. Your man, he comes to me like, that kind of shows character that she didn't even sit up here and wait. I'm like, character? Bro, it's 2019, bro. Nobody sits up here and wait for anybody no more. Or anything. If a person wants to get over you, and be in love with that person for God knows how long. You're not a single person. It's not, words don't revolve around you.
I mean, to be honest, I mean that's some real shit for real, because like, I mean, granted it is 2019 and people can keep saying that, and it could try to change, and it could be something that tries to change the volume of the message of the message of 2019 is, especially for women, I want women to actually hear me when I say this. You don't need the nigga that you with 100% of the time, because as you found that man, you can go out and find another one, or you can find a woman, or you can find whoever you want to, because you are a woman. You possess a lot of power. You can enter a room and stop the entire flow just by entering it. Conversation shifts towards you. You do not cause a conversation to shift just because you walk in the room based off the fact that you are this or you are that. No, you come in and you shake the conversation of a room because you are a woman, first and foremost. So, damn, this is supposed to be a whole other topic on men, but just to end that off, just offer that, just a bit of encouragement. But to be honest, and I'm gonna touch on this for a little bit. Black men really need to get over themselves. Really. I'm not saying that because I'm hate black men or because I'm bashing black men. You really need to get over yourself, because you cannot sit there and say I love you, but in the same breath have sex with every other female that you look at, while also in the same breath saying, why are you doing the same thing to me? Or getting mad because they went out and found somebody else that actually values them as a human fucking being, and then get mad at them saying, oh, why you do me like that? You playing with my emotions. You ain't shit. All bitches ain't shit. No, my nigga, you ain't shit. You wasn't shit when she met you. You wasn't shit during the relationship, and you wasn't shit after she left you. That's just real. Don't just keep it 100. Like, if we just gonna keep it 100, that's exactly how it is. That failed mindset keeps niggas trapped inside of a mental blockade, thinking that their woman needs them. First and foremost, you have what about 350 billion other men have in this entire fucking planet. A dick. And even that can be fucking replaced with rubber. So how you gonna sit there and try to assert your dominance into a place that doesn't need to be asserted at? Who the fuck you think you are? Huh? Because you're a man, a woman's supposed to submit to you, or because you're a man, they're supposed to bow down and stick with you through all the bullshit. Now, there are women that do that, and I commend them for that. But no, that's not the main purpose of what builds a healthy relationship. But again, that's for another video. The topic at hand right now is the ascension of dark-skinned men to like the top of the food chain, quote unquote, when it comes to that spectrum. So as you've seen that most black men and women demonize dark-skinned women, it's kind of the opposite for dark-skinned men at times. Granted, I said at times because there's times where being dark-skinned literally gets you the same treatment no matter what gender you are, but most people tend to lean towards dark-skinned men being more sexual, like a sensual chocolate. Ooh, a little dark piece of chocolate. And it just this mindset that really is really messed up, because you can't in reality in one word, like in one sentence, say I cannot stand dark-skinned women, but in the next sentence say I love dark-skinned men. Like how does that make sense?
Does it? Because if you gonna love, say if you gonna love light skinned women, love dark skinned women, so don't be. Oh, I don't like dark skinned women there too. No, bro, no. Oh, I don't want to date nobody that's as dark as me or even darker than me. Nigga, do you realize how stupid you sound right now, bro?
Exactly.
Like, you don't want to date her because she's the same color as you. Smart as a fucking. No, as what? But no, it's the Kodak Black.
No,
Like fool can't play wise. The fool trying to play wise, and right now, you sounding real stupid because women, especially black people, are created the same when they all. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how they look or how they don't look. Light skinned women, ain't really nothing wrong with light skinned women. Nothing wrong with dark skinned women. You dark skinned yourself, bro. I'm a different type of dark skin. I'm the chocolate, such. You sound stupid saying all that. It's like you're trying to make something up.
I mean, realistically, he was just pulling something out of his ass. And it really becomes a lot more prevalent when you look at like history. And this is where we go back. And I know there's some people that's going to get it. They're going to be like, oh, you're going back to slavery. What a black thing to do. Yes, that's typically where the fucking problem started. So, of course, I'm going to go back to the root of the fucking problem. Anywho, the whole mentality of this is the fact, and this is kind of I'll say, just read the Willie Lynch theorem, right? And in that, it basically shows you how to control a entire ethnic group of people by making them turn on each other. Making them feel like elevating one skin tone over the other just so you can control everybody else. So you destroy the image of the dark-skinned man and woman while you promote the image of a lighter skin tone. Think about that for a second. And it's just like a broad generalization of it. I haven't read the entire thing. I haven't really got a chance to, but I am going to read it. One of these days, I actually found it, and I have to continue to read it. But like just going back, and that never really left. Like that form of hatred. No, actually, it didn't leave, but it just evolved. So it evolved into like a distinct hatred for dark-skinned women by everybody in the black community. Not everybody, but most people. And it's just weird conundrum. But it evolved into a much sex crazed, and sexually oriented desire for dark-skinned men. So, I mean, to round it off, at the end of the day, it doesn't make it better. Because you sit there and you say that dark-skinned men are A-okay by you, and that you love dark-skinned men as a light-skinned woman or a white woman or a Hispanic woman or an Asian woman, it doesn't mean, well, more importantly, as a light-skinned or a dark-skinned woman or man, it does not mean that it's okay to bash dark-skinned women for the same skin tone. Just keep it 100.
Yeah, pretty much the truth.
Like it's just being real.
Like pretty much what he said, really, like to not determine how you feel about a person. If this person treats you right, and you feel him, but you don't like him because he's light skinned or such. Basing your on their color skin or how they look. The person might be ugly on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Until you to know that person, the inside of them is so beautiful. The outside wouldn't even give you don't even care about the outside. Nobody wants to do that because of the simple fact and day an ugly person. I don't want to take that chance. You know, he's ugly. You know, he's not my type. And she's not my type. They said to assess it, like, we realize how stupid you.
No, nobody actually realizes how stupid they sound when they say things like that. They just feel as though, I mean, well, I'll say this: your opinion does matter, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You also have to realize that, as you are entitled to your opinion, I am also entitled to my opinion about your opinion. Just keep that in mind. You have an opinion, but I also have an opinion that may contradict your opinion. So it's not saying that I don't particularly like your opinion or that your opinion is wrong. It just, my opinion differs from yours. Just kind of put it like that. Put it in that consensus. But at the end of the day, what we need to do as a whole is to come to a general realization that because you have a darker or lighter skin tone does not make you better than anyone at the end of the day. Because as I've said here and I've laid out that light-skinned women do this, and they had a whole story about how this light-skinned woman posted this thing on Facebook and all this other shit. Dark-skinned women could say the same thing about light-skinned women, and dark-skinned men could say the same thing about light-skinned men. The light-skinned versus dark-skinned meme and joke, it was funny at first to me when I was a child and a teenager, but it's really detrimental, and I see the flaw in it now as I'm 22 years old, trying to help raise 3 children who look distinctly light-skinned, and now I have to try to tell them that if you're going to be mocha-skinned or a little lighter than your father, you have to be ready to be either subjugated, ready to be subjugated to a wide variety of different taunts because of your skin color, or if they're darker than me or my same skin color, I have to teach them the same thing. It's really harsh, but that's something I really have to do, and I hate that I have to do that. But we need to come to a realization that all of our people in the black community, whether you're light skinned, dark skinned, in between, you're a mixed child, a mixed ethnic child, of anything, like, you just have to realize that no one black person is better than the other at the end of the day.
True. At the end of the day, same. You treated the same amount of people. It's literally all the time I get strange looks from people, just, and it's just be like, wow, like, watch this person just staring at me. But it was yesterday. Yesterday was what?
Thursday.
So Thursday was
the 18th.
Wednesday.
Okay.
Wednesday. On the bus on the way home.
Mm-hmm.
One lady gave me the meanest, dirtiest look ever. Like, literally. Oh, she just loved this shit out of me. With a mean love. What? You know, I'm chilling, and now she's had her headphones in, legit shit, gave me the meanest mug. I'm like, why are you mean mugging me? Granted, I didn't really trip off of it.
Right.
So I'm on my phone. But I can tell she's low-key looking back. It's like she's trying her best to look back at her head. But she just had her headphones in, shaking her head, just vibing. Like, okay, cool, whatever, do you? But the main thing is like, why the fuck are you mean mugging me? You woman? Motherfucker out of me.
I don't know. It's something I could never answer, but
exactly. I'm like, okay. I mean, she was all cool, fun, and everything until I got my ass on that bus, and it was just like, when it's off the back, she mean mugged me, and I looked at her ass like, and your bullshit.
Like, hey, what the fuck you looking at? You know?
Just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm finna get into nobody. I'm trying to get the fuck home, get about this suit. I was hot. It was a hot day today.
Hey, bro, I
feel
you.
And I'm a big man, so I heard about that suit.
Hey, I feel you on that one, man. But we gonna wrap it up here, guys. Again, what I said at the beginning of the video, we're gonna have timestamps in the description below, just to let you know when things started, when particular instances in this podcast that the topic was started on, and have annotations, annotations indicating that. Again, go ahead and follow me on all social media, subscribe to me and all that stuff. And if you really, really enjoy this, please share it on Facebook, share it on Instagram, and try to get awareness to not my podcast or just to the platform itself, because I don't want to dull anybody else's media or dull anybody else's charisma or anything else by trying to push myself above everybody else. If I can get up here, I'm going to make sure that everybody else associated with this podcast and with me in life gets up there with me. So, without further ado, go ahead and say your final statements, Mr. Tez, and then we're going to wrap it up, man.
Listen, at the end of the day, really, everybody needs to stop the whole colorism, the light skin, dark skin bullshit, because it's really what it makes it seem retarded. Actually, are retarded. It makes you seem like a nigga, and pretty much, if y'all want to do the colorism and we already segregated, it's just gonna hurt us more in the process. So my final words: stop the colorism. Last one, and the person's color determine how you feel about them.
I mean, agreed. My last little bit of my last tidbit of information before we close out this episode is love thyself before you can love another person. All right, and that's something that I've carried with me my entire lifetime. Love thyself before you can love another person. And I keep saying this every episode until somebody gets it. You got to love yourself before you can say that you love somebody else. And just black people, my black brothers and sisters, stop with the colorism. Stop with the ageism, the classism, and everything else. And start treating your black brothers and sisters as if they're your own black brothers and sisters, because at the end of the day, if we don't have each other's back, nobody else will. And that's just me being 100. But, it's your boy, Black Lil Mac, and again, Mr. Quentin Tezzarino, and the spectator of the hour, Moon Bunny, a.k.a. Sean McClain, a.k.a. Jerome Smith, I guess, a.k.a. the Weeb Lord of the Century. Nah, I think that's Justin. Justin may be the Weeb Lord of the Century. But
Justin,
definitely Justin. But with all that, man, we out of here. Peace, love, chicken grease, and remember, stay black, my friends. Stay black.